Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? It's Cami here. I am just coming in to talk for just a few minutes. So I've been thinking about a quote that I heard the other day that really kind of took me in. So I'm, not a big fan of like a lot of quote posts and things for social media, but once in a while, I hear somebody deconstruct a quote and put it into a way of meaning that I think really helps. And so one of the quotes that I heard just this week was Peter Drucker, who is a well known management consultant, who said that the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. And maybe that's because that's the way I think. I think about turmoil and stress and all of the things that we're going through. And I think of when that happens to me, I mean, of course, I feel overwhelmed sometimes, just like anyone. But then there's this energy that kind of flows up out of that. Like, and it's all about creation and how can we make something out of a situation. And maybe that comes from just my history, my background, how I grew up, um, how I came into my own, which was hard. It was kind of a hard scrabble thing, and I can kind of give you that story. At 18 years old, I was not sure what I was going to do, and my mother had moved away from where I was living and gotten married, and I wasn't sure how that was all going to turn out. But then, I kind of rose up to that occasion, put myself into a community college, and then moved my way up through and ended up in Washington, D.C. and kind of through this whole process, put myself through college, right? So, with nobody in my family ever having gone to college, all of those things. So, where do you take that turmoil, the things that feel like so overwhelming that you can't surmount them and turn them into the energy to create something new? And I think right now we're in a period of time that clearly we are having crisis after crisis after crisis. And I know that lots of people are losing their jobs. I have friends that have lost their jobs, and I know some of you listening to me may have too. And the question is, what do you do? And so that's what I love about this quote. The best way to predict the future is to invent it. And what does that mean to me and you? I think the biggest part of that is thinking about what it is that you want to create out of life. What is it that you want to do? And then going down, it's like a river running down a riverbed, that it hits a rock and it splits and then it runs to another direction. So what direction are you aiming at, so that whenever you go around that rock that you come out in a wider path, maybe a different path than you thought you would ever take, maybe something that you've never done. And one of my other favorite quotes that I kind of held on to as I was going through all of my struggles through college and getting through that was, to get something you have never had, you have to do something you've never done. And so that's the key. It's not going to be able to be business as usual. We're going to have to do something different than we've always done to have a different kind of success. And some of it's not going to work. I mean, it may work, it may not, but I'm just saying you have to have that single-minded focus that you're going to go down that path. So, um, building my business was like that too. Like, how am I going to build this business? Where am I going to go? And I've gone through a number of stumbles over the business. First I just wanted to be a consultant. I didn't want to have employees. I didn't want to like have that responsibility of somebody else's life in my corner. And I had this whole kind of construct or story around I can't have employees, right? And that's the funny part, is that now there's five of us and bunches of contractors, and I have employees. But I had to get over that mindset, and the only way to get over that mindset was to create something different, to go a different direction. And I think that's, you've got to be willing to do that and see things differently, and give up your stories and give up the stories that we have. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys hear me on that or feel me on that. Are you hearing that? Do any of you kind of just let me know in the comments you're here, and whether you've had that experience too of like, you had to just get up and, you know, move forward. And I guess I'm an optimist. I'll say that. I'll start with that I'm generally an optimist. So that does help, I think, in moving yourself forward through times like this. But the main thing is like having a plan or a path. And so one of the best things I ever did was sit down with a piece of paper and just say, what would I want to tell myself if I met myself in another year? Don't even go out 5 years, just go out 1 year. Just get a piece of paper and say, if I met myself at the beginning of 2021, the uncanceled year, right? 2021, if I met myself in 2021, what would I tell myself? Like if everything that I wanted to happen happened, if all the things I dreamed of would happen, what would I tell myself? So if you just sit down in a quiet moment, like maybe 5 minutes, and just write this out, put on some music and just think about who you want to be in a year or where you want to be in a year from now. And you may not know that, but as you start to write, things are going to come to you. So, what are you passionate about? What do you care about? What kind of change do you want to make in the world? I'm just giving you some prompting questions. What do you want people to say about you? I know people talk about that when you at your funeral, but I really think 1 year out right now is so important because during times like this when things are turbulent, we need to have like a pole in front of us. So let me give you another example. I ran a marathon once um, when I was in my 20s, and I ran it for charity. And it was the hardest thing I ever did because I've never thought of myself as an athlete or a runner or anything. So I trained for it, of course. And one of the things that kept me going was what I called the light post method. And so when I was out doing my long runs, because when you're preparing for a marathon, you have to kind of work up to it. So you start with shorter runs, and then every couple of days you add some more miles and so on. Hey, Elise, how are you? Thank you. I thank God for you too. So one of the ways that we could do that, one of the ways I got through that marathon was that those miles was just looking at the next light post. I'd say, I'm going to run to that next post right there. I'm going to run to that post. And then I would have it in my brain. So I'd trick my brain and say, I only need to get to that post. And then when I got to that post, as I was nearing it, I would then focus on the next one. And then I'd run to that post and then to the next one and to the next one and so on. And I might pick a stop sign or whatever. I'd pick a landmark that was ahead of me. A tree. I'd run to that landmark, and then I'd almost instantly, as I got to that landmark, focus on to the next one. And that's really how you get out of like hard situations in my mind, is that you focus on the next thing that you need to accomplish. And then as you get close to that next thing, then you jump past that. One of the things, and I'm trying to remember who I heard say this, but it was so good. I do think it's important to celebrate your wins. I think it's great, but I think that one of the big predictors of, I heard this from a management consultant. I listen to a lot of podcasts and videos and stuff. So it might've been Donald Miller, but I can't remember. He said that a lot of companies fail after a big win, like after a huge win, because they just sit on their laurels and they enjoy that win. They enjoy that win, and then they forget what made them hungry in the first place, the thing that made them go after that win. And so I would say that that's just what it was. Oh, actually, my brother just said I was being humble, but it's not true. Actually, he actually was with me the last, I don't know, quarter mile of that. I don't think I was really running at that point. I'll be really honest, in the marathon. At that point in the marathon, when Shay came out with me and like basically walked over the finish line with me, yeah, that was powerful. So having somebody to help you along the way is also really important too. Having people that you trust that are good, that actually bring you along, that are good people to you, that are not naysaying you all the time, I guess is the right thing. The people that are not, um, you know, telling you, like bringing you down. So you need to like have somebody to bring you along. So I appreciate that Shay's here at the last minutes of my of my live stream. Makes sense, right? He helped me over that finish line too that day. And so I think that's really it. I mean, you've got to keep moving forward. And we are here on the earth for a purpose, right? So each person has a purpose. And your purpose is important. And no matter what's happening to you right now, you have a purpose. And so you need to find what that purpose is for yourself. You need to sit down and again, do this writing exercise. It's so powerful. What would you tell yourself in a year if you could have accomplished anything that you want in this year? So I'm hearing a lot of people saying that 2020 is canceled. I don't buy into that. 2020 is different. 2020 is challenging. Some people may lose their life in 2020, and that's why you have to do this now. That is why you have to do this now. We don't have all the time in the world. We don't have all the time in the world. We have a very, very short time to get done what we need to get done, what we were put here to get done. And so I'm determined. I mean, I know you can tell that. That's again my personality. I'll be honest. I'm a very determined personality, but I'm determined that I was put here on the earth to do a specific thing. And I it's grown over time too. Like what I thought my specific thing was 10 years ago is very different than today. So don't think you have to be perfect at it yet. You're moving out in faith and that you're going to get this, accomplished. So right now for me, my goal is to help 1,000 entrepreneurs and businesses to learn how to put together their social media and leverage that to build online communities around their brands so that they can have positive impact on those people. And if I can do that for about 1,000 companies with my new Smart Social Secrets course and also through my clients. I can only take about 5 or 6 clients at a time, but I can help through Smart Social Secrets hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs. So if I can help 1,000 people, that's 1,000,000 people in impact because they would go out and build a community of 1,000 people. And I want to help people do that. And so Smart Social Secrets was born out of that, is that impact. I want to help small businesses succeed in this market using social media. There's other ways to succeed. You don't have to use social media, but that's what my expertise is. That's what my knowledge is. And so I want to do that. And so we're doing Smart Social Secrets. I'm just finishing, actually, today's the first graduation of the first class of Smart Social Secrets. Yay, graduating class. And I'm really, really excited about that. 30 people that are, graduating out with the knowledge that they need to build their online community. Then we're going to relaunch again in July. So let me know if you're a person that wants to do something like that. You can go to smartsocialsecrets.com and I think get on the waiting list there. My staff has set that up, but I'm really, really determined on that. Now, that's where I'm going to be because I want to help people to have a business. And especially in this kind of market, I want people to have a living in a business that works. So that's what I'm up to. And what are you up to? That's what I'm at. I'm telling you what I'm up to, but what are you up to? What is your desire? I'd love you to tell me that. I'd love you, love you, love you, you to tell you that so that you can grow in that area. So let us know what you want to do, like what difference you want to make in the world right now. I've also been looking at racial inequality lately, and I'm in student mode there. I'm going to be honest, I'm totally in student mode, and that's something I'm going to put as a huge value in my business. And that's coming. So I'm also starting on some new things as well. So I'd love to hear what your new things are and what your purposes are. I appreciate that. And thank you guys so much for showing up today, especially my brother. And and Elise too. If you're still here, hi Elise, my cousin. It's family hour today. I love it. I love it. You guys are here. That's amazing. I appreciate you. Anyway, that's kind of what was on my mind this morning. And I'll end with the quote again. The best way to predict the future is to invent it. Yeah. So instead of sitting around worrying about the future, how can you do your part to invent the future that's positive, that's better for everyone else? How can you do your part? We've been made as creative beings. We've been made to be creative. So what's your creation? What are you going to bring into the world in the next year? How are you going to get over the 2020 cancel culture? What are you going to do? That's my question for you today. I hope you tell me. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. I'll be back next Thursday for this. And tomorrow we have social media breakfast here in Houston, but it's of course online, so any of you can come. And we are having an amazing panel of women who are going to be talking about how to amplify Black voices. It's an amazing all female Black panel that's like, I mean, they're powerhouses, guys. I mean, they're good friends of mine, amazing people. I'm excited to hear what they have to say. They're going to have some really good stuff to talk about. We're going to do that tomorrow at 8:30. I think we already have 70 or 80 people that signed up to come, plus more that are like interested. So I will drop the link to that here in this the chat here in a minute, and then you guys can see it from there. So I'm going to grab that real quick here while we do that. And yeah, thank you, Elise. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're learning from it. I learned too, because it's funny because if you, by the way, that's the other thing I want to say. One of the best ways to learn and really grow is to teach other people. So it's a really interesting, and I know Elise is a teacher, so she can tell you if you can get students to teach their fellow students, they learn so much more than if you just try to teach them everything themselves. Because there's something about teaching other people that internalizes it for you, and it flows then outward. So I know not everybody's called to be a teacher. I didn't think I was called to be a teacher, kind of interestingly, but I feel like right now I am. So I think it's a really interesting moment. You'll change, as you as you go through this journey, you're going to change what you think is even possible for you and what you think you can even do. And then there's a lot of stories that we tell too about like what we can and can't do, what we should and shouldn't do. There's a lot of stories we tell ourselves, and so that's the inner work. That's inside of your brain. And I don't, maybe I'll touch on that in another one of these live streams, is this inner work that has to happen when you do that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to just this next, 6 to 8 months and what comes of it. I feel like it's a little scary because it's very uncertain. Even simply like how are my kids going to go to school again? And how are we going to do all of the things that we've done in the past, or are they going to be completely different? So I do feel like we have a lot to learn as we go forward here. But anyway, so I'm learning too, guys. I'm learning too. I'm going to actually do it too. So I'm going to sit down today. I promise, 5 minutes with my notebook, and I'm going to write out what I'm going to say to myself a year from now. Are you guys in? Who's in with me on doing that? Just journaling a little bit. Doesn't have to be a special journal, just could be a sheet of paper. Doesn't have to be anything special. And in extra credit, if you actually put it in an envelope and mail it to yourself. That way you can like keep it aside and then open it up next year. That'd be fun, right? Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I'm putting this in so you guys can see it. It took me a second to grab it, but hopefully you'll be able to see it. Hopefully it'll pull the link. Kind of did, kind of didn't. All right, so I just put in the Facebook event link right here below, and I'm going to put it also over here so it goes out to everywhere. Good, great, Elise. I'm glad it's you too. Yep, there you go. Awesome, guys. Okay, so I'm going to get on with my day. I hope you do too. I'd love for you to come back and tell me what the thing is you're going to accomplish, or DM me if you don't want to tell people in public. But I would suggest that whatever it is you're up to, that you be public about it so that people can hold you accountable. So tell somebody that will say, okay, good. All right. So have an accountability partner that's going to hold you to it. And just reach out to somebody and ask them. And I'm really excited, guys, to have this year and be here with you. So I'm all about like making sure you succeed. So let me know what I can do. And obviously, if you're interested in Smart Social Secrets, here it is. It's in the corner. I'm very bad at this. One of my goals is going to be to get better at like doing these kinds of things on video. Anyway, but smartsocialsecrets.com, you can sign up for the next time that we open up the class. Anyway, okay. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.